New reports out looking into the effects of putting kids into childcare and nurseries at a young age. It says it doesn't give them the best start in life and that concepts of love and attachment haven't been discussed properly when deciding what's best for kids. I can see Frankie just going, Frankie, I might as well start with you. Is this, I think you and I are very similar on this, but I'll ask you the question anyway. Do you think it's just yet another way to make parents feel bad about having to work and earn a living?
You just can't win. What else are people supposed to do? You need to work to earn a living. You have children. What else are you supposed to do with them? Like, it's a ridiculous... I think it's a really unfair study to do and to put out there. And I just think, especially, you know, either way, but I can only speak from someone that's self-employed. Like, when you're self-employed, if you're not working, you're not getting paid. And you need to make money to be able to support the child and yourself, obviously. So you go back to work as quick as possible. For some people, they don't have grandparents or family or friends that can help look after kids, so they've got to pay for childcare. Childcare is inexplicably expensive.
I know, yeah.
And I have friends that are in these impossible positions now where they're having to choose, OK, is it worth them going back to work because of how expensive that is? And then being in their overdraft every month just to get by every month, to be able to have children and to be able to have work. And by shaming people and saying, oh, actually, you're doing your children wrong by that, what do you gain from that?
Yeah. And it's also perhaps not looking at a system that isn't always set up for parents and families. And the reality of life is we are an ageing population, so we need people to keep reproducing in order that we can still get taxes paid, national insurance paid, be able to pay for those later on in life. We need that to happen. Yeah. But the building blocks, I guess, both through legislation but also through companies themselves, doesn't exist really to make that happen. And I always find it interesting with these reports. What they never seem to go into is for the upper echelons of society who on occasion, or quite frequently, send their kids to boarding school, for instance, from the moment they start school to the moment they finish at 18. The studies never look into that. Yeah. It's more to do with sort of working class who have to work to survive.
And it suggests that it's a luxury for mothers to be working. It's exactly a necessity, and we're an aspirational generation where we're constantly being told to try and be equal and try to show our children that this is how mothers can be. So we are role models to our children, and it's not just down to the mum, guys. You know, there are dads involved in this too, and I think parents make this decision because they want their homes to work. And I do think, from a mother's POV, because they've spent 9 months and maternity leave being in charge of this child, they've jumped off a work ladder for some amount of time anyway. You know, most people have got their maternity cover, which may be, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Now, if you're asking people not to use childcare for, what, another 3 years, you think you can just jump back into your old workplace? Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So...
I mean, both mine were in nursery at 8 months because I know that being a full-time parent doesn't work for me. And we can't do it financially anyway. We've got bills to pay. And my kids, you know, I think are fine. I assume. I guess I'll know later on in time. But because we've got bills to pay, we need to do that. Neither of them have been in it full-time, but they have both been in nursery from an early age. And like millions of families up and down the country, we've got to try and find the money to do that. We've got to try and find the money to pay the bills. I think it's really easy to try and blame parents for simply trying to survive and have their family survive. It's not fair.
Yeah. See, I was very lucky because my mum looked after my children. I worked from when they were practically born. I mean, I was pregnant twice when I was doing Birds of a Feather, and then I had the crew and the actors waiting for me to go back to work, so I'd go back to work, and then my mum would look after them. And now my daughter's a childminder as well, so she looks after her and my sister Debbie. My sister's only just got a job at 60, and they're looking after babies, and they absolutely love it. They have 6 children every day, and the first little girl that they looked after was born during COVID, and so every morning she was brought to the house and my sister and Lauren would be there. She'd cry, and she'd cry quite a lot. And then after probably about a week and a half, she'd cry when her mum picked her up. So they've got 6 kids there, and they absolutely love it, honestly.
That's amazing, and I still remember my childminder from when I was 3, 4, 5. I'm still in touch with them. Same. So they are remarkable people. They make a difference in your life, and so it's good for the kids.
And you just want them to also love your children, you know?